Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Rewind That. I'm your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today we are going to be talking about Force Season 3. I was going to say 2. Season 3, episode number 2. Okay, so I didn't take notes when I watched the episode. I saw it Monday, I think yesterday night. I didn't take notes. So this is kind of like a first reaction recap a little bit for me. So what I'm gonna do is I will be using you guys as kind of like my little co-host, my little help, to remind me of certain things if I forget, or you know, if there's something that you want to discuss that I did not. Okay. So let me give you the topics. I'm going to talk about DMAC. I'm going to talk about Jannard. I'm going to talk about Diamond. I'm going to talk about Maria just very shortly, but very briefly. Tommy, of course. Stacy and Diamond. Okay. And then when I talk about Jannard, I'm going to talk about Shanti. So hey, Queen and Juan Roman, Demarcus, and my girl Rashonda Greer was up in here. Okay. Thank you so much, Demarcus, for the $5 super chat. Art Love, what's up? Um, Off topic question: who is more dangerous, CBI with Diamond and Jannard, or CMB with Nino Brown and G Money from New Jack City? That's a good question, but I think that CMB is more dangerous with G Money off drugs. I'll say that. Because, Jannard, he was messing with some stuff as well, but I just like him and his brother as a team. I don't know. Anywho. Shanti is Clarissa Shields and Jannard is Papoose. Oh my gosh. Demarcus, thank you for the super chat. All right. Let's get into it, guys. Okay. How are you guys liking it so far? I know it's only been 2 episodes. This is an impromptu live. This is not the time that I'm normally going to be going live. I am still trying to get back to the Friday midnights. But yeah, and I can't really get like a squad together for Sunday where we could talk about our scratching my head moments and least favorite moments and all that, cool stuff. So on Friday nights, we might just talk about the scratching my head moments. I don't plan on doing full recaps of this series at all. So it's going to be more like scratching my head moments and stuff like that. Okay. Least favorite moments, blah, 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 blah. All right. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's talk about DMAC. Okay. So I don't know if you guys remember, you guys been following me. DMAC was my baby boy. Okay. He just was this kid that, I always loved the kids that I have a soft spot for kids that have all this potential. But the reason why they are the way they are is because they had, a bad hand dealt in life. Okay. So we see that he was angry because, his father left him, his mother, whatever happened with her, she died. I don't remember what happened with the mother, but, the situation that happened with him, and that's the reason why he was in the streets and things like that. And then finding out that he was so smart and things, I just thought he was so sweet, but now like he's taking a turn for the worse. Of course, he didn't go to the school that his uncle sent him to. It was like, I'm not cutting my dreads, I'm got my dreads for life, saying all this stupid stuff. And okay, you don't want to cut your dreads, that's fine, whatever. But I'm just looking at it and I'm like that whole storyline has just got so jacked up. It's to a point where, he's out here being like super reckless. He's supposed to be off the streets. Every time you turn around, this little nigga is getting into something and he's just doing the most. And at this point, guys, I'm ready. I don't care. Like, I know this is only the second episode and something might turn around to where I would change my mind and be like, oh my gosh, no, he's trying to, get it together. He's finally like, and then he'll get deleted and then I'll be like, oh, I'll be sad. But I don't know. Right now, I'm just feeling like I don't give a daggone. Okay. So let's talk about Marshall real quick. So first of all, let me see. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not going off. All right. So let me stick to DMAC for a second. Then we'll go back. We're going to go to Marshall. So we see DMAC, like Marshall is trying to tell him, like, stay in the house. He's like, I can't stay in the house. Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? Marshall's like, read a freaking book. Okay. Like, so he's like, really wants to prove himself to CBI. And my thing about this is it's so annoying because it's like for someone who wants to prove themselves to, your superiors or whatever, why not listen, right? Why not show that you could be a good soldier? You're a trusted soldier. You take orders. You know what I'm saying? You're just showing that you're like this wild card and nobody wants that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody like DMAC with the way he is, being so reckless, he's the type of kid that a boss would serve up, you know what I'm saying, on a silver platter, so to speak, because like we know that King Kilo wants DMAC dead. And DMAC is not making it easy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not making people want to save him. The only thing that's keeping him alive right now is Shanti, who got into Jannard's head because she got her own little ulterior motives. And the fact that Jannard is telling his brother that if you freaking touch this kid, everything's going to go messy. Like it's going to just mess up. It's going to blow back. Diamond is saying, well, you need to make it look like it's not, you know what I'm saying, him. But we already know, guys, Tommy has kind of like a one-track mind. He has showed us in this series that he's gotten better with it. He knows how to kind of multitask. He's got revenge on the brain, but he can also try to continue to, make his moves and everything like that for business. Like we saw that with, his revenge for Liliana. Okay. So, but Jannard's not wrong about what he's saying, right? And also Diamond's not wrong about what he's saying about DMAC either. He's like, okay, well, Kilo wants him dead, and so if we don't serve him up, guess what? It's going to be one of us instead. So it really does give Jannard something to think about at the same time. They both make sense, like I said. What's up, Art Love? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, let me see, Marshall. So I'm using these little captions, these little banners to help me remember certain things and certain points that I wanted to make. So I think that Marshall is in danger just simply being around this kid, around DMAC, okay? After that freaking little robbery that this kid pulls off, after his uncle done told him to sit the freak down, him pulling Marshall out of there like, you come with me. First of all, nigga, they didn't see your face. They saw Marshall's face. And to do that was stupid and wrong. And I kind of feel like there's this running theme, right, with the kids that are smart, like intellectually, right, book smart. They always do some dumb street stuff. And it's like, that was a big no-no. Okay. I think that's going to blow back on, not on DMAC by way of the deletion for this little boy from Marshall. And, he's over here trying to be the voice of reason. Okay. Marshall's trying to be DMAC's voice of reason and let him know, like, you're being too reckless out here. We're not even supposed to be seen with you. So that's another thing right there, right, guys? I feel like that points to Marshall's death in a way. He's not even supposed to be seen with DMAC. So not only could that get him in trouble with his superiors, the fact that DMAC pulled off this little heist or this robbery it's a really big problem. Okay. So yes, I'm basically said this already. Despite Tommy's efforts, DMAX still wants to be in the streets, but he lied to Tommy. He said, "Oh, I don't want CBI. I'm done with CBI. This and that." That was too easy. Of course, that was going to happen. And I know Tommy. Like, I don't understand why Tommy would even listen to him. But it's kind of like, it seems like Tommy is working with the checklist right now, right? Because, like I said, I don't feel like he used to be that he used to do well with multitasking. And so for him, it's kind of like, all right, I checked in on my nephew, trying to see what's going on with him. I'm over here dealing with Miguel and his situation. I'm over here dealing with Ortega. I'm over here dealing with Vic. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's doing like a checklist type of thing, right? But it's also not really helping him think things through, especially how he was operating in this episode. And like, I don't want to jump the gun, but I have some things to say about that as well. Okay. Let me see what you guys are talking about. What's up, J Mag? He says Marshall's going to be in the win. Death predictions: Vic, JP, Mirkovich, Miguel, Bill, Che, Shanti, Roberto, Ortega, Grayskull, Raheem, King, Kilo, and Elise. Okay. Like, I'm going to tell you that the majority of those people on that list, DeMarcus, I don't care about. Like, I literally don't care. But yeah, I don't care about none of them people. But Shanti, I do believe is going to bite the dust as well. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so let me go back to my banners. I don't want to get sidetracked. I'm going to go through the stuff and then try to get to y'all comments because I really don't want to be sidetracked. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's talk about Jenard. All right. I'm just going to flat out and tell y'all that Shanti is not a good woman. Okay. I know that, like, I've been on other platforms, other channels where dudes was loving Shanti. Okay. I am not feeling her. She's not a good woman. I would not want my sons to ever cross a woman like this. Like, I wouldn't ever want my sons to deal with a woman like this, bring a woman home like this. Like, no. Any kind of woman that is trying to devise a plan for you to take out your own brother, you're not the right woman. Period. Like, come on now. Let's be real. Okay. So here's my first thing. Shanti tells Jenard to spend time with Diamond, okay, to manipulate him. The first thing, see, Jenard, if he's not already thinking, and Jenard is smart, guys, okay, we know this. Every now and then, maybe because of the drugs, brain shuts off or something like that, but he hasn't been using. So it's time for him to get that Ivy League brain going again, okay? If you see that this woman has tasked you with manipulating your brother so that you can help take him out, don't you think that it's not going to be far-fetched for her to be manipulating you? And my thing is, I keep getting these like little glimpses, right, of Jenard's face, his facial expressions when she talks like this. And for me, if I'm reading into it properly and the way that the writers want us to read into it, it makes me feel like he's really not down with her plan like that. And it makes me feel like he's kind of like thinking a little bit like, what the heck is she, what is she like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this chick is something else. Like, it makes me feel like that's what he's thinking. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm freaking tripping over my words. That's what he's thinking. Okay. Let me see. So she says to him, right? She asked him for a second time in this, and not in this episode, but this was the second time. In the last episode, she asked him, "Are you gonna be okay with deleting your brother, Jay?" This time she asked him again, and she's like, "Because for real, like, you know, blah 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 blah, you know." And it's like she pretty much wants him to promise her, or you know, he did promise her that the plans have not changed. But what kind of plan is it, huh? Because listen, here's my prediction right now. Okay, because at this point, I am hoping that Jannar will not go through with deleting his brother. Okay. It makes me feel terrible when you see Jannar pleading with his brother. Can you please get this ninja Tommy in line? Don't you see what he's doing? This white mother lover is trying to take over, and he's not CBI and this and that and the third. And when he hears his brother say things like he helped put CBI back on the map, it's a gut blow, right? A gut punch, right? And he's like, so did I. You know what I'm saying? So what are you talking about? So those type of moments right there, they worry me. They make me feel like, oh my gosh, we don't need Jannar feeling slighted and getting in his feelings and really thinking that he needs to take his brother out, right? But at the same time, I just don't feel like he's comfortable with this plan. Okay. I think that and I don't want to jump the gun yet, but let me hold the thought. Let me see. Hold on, guys. I think I want to hold the thought. Okay. So Shanti, I was going to make a prediction, but we're going to wait. We're going to talk about Diamond first. Then I'm going to make my prediction about Jannar and Shanti. Okay. So she asked him the second time if it's okay. I mean, if he's okay with deleting his brother. He says, my plans have not changed. I promise you. Let's stick a pin in that. Hopefully I don't lose my thought. If I do, y'all, please, okay? Please take me back. Plans did not change. My plans did not change. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. That's what he said, okay? And then she tells him, maybe I did bet on the right brother. That's another thing. That's another thing that should have this dude going, what the heck you mean? So you had your eye on both of us and you was trying to figure out which one? Like, that's weird to me. Like, a dude couldn't tell me that. Like, yeah, I knew I chose the right sister. What are you talking about? No, like, you cannot have had eyes for me and my sister, my guy, and then you was trying to pick and choose which one. No, because that's disgusting. Because if I want you to be in my life or think, decide to keep you in my life for the long run, I don't want it in the back of my mind that you used to like my sister. And I know there are people that they have those type of situations and they're really nothing, especially when y'all was younger. It's nothing, but I just don't like that idea, like, ew. Especially with me, like sometimes my mind be like, you sitting over there next to my sister a little too close. Like, it would just be like my mind, like the way my mind be working, it would just continue to work like that. So no, we cannot have that, honey. No. All right. Let's see. Is that it? Let's talk about Maria real quick before we move on, right? So Maria removes a bullet from one of the guys and stitches him up. Diamond and Jannar show up. Okay, so I'm saying all that to say that now that it's out in the open, Tommy has Maria way too close and Maria is getting involved way too much. This makes me afraid for her, but not all the way. I could see more of Maria surviving and her losing Tommy or her brother. That's what I see more. I see more of that than anything. But I just do feel like she's involved too freaking much. And we see that she's kind of keeping the men in her life. She's kind of she kind of has this this power over them, so to speak, because it kind of keeps them off of each other. Like, you see, they keep having these run-ins, but they won't touch each other, right? They won't delete each other because they made promises to Maria, right? However, they both still are doing some sneaky underhanded stuff to where it's like, my plan is still to take you out. Like, and Tommy's like, I promise I'm not gonna kill him. And Miguel is saying the same thing. I can't touch him, but it doesn't mean that I won't have him touched. You know what I'm saying? So, speaking of promises, like that's why I'm so glad that I keep using that, because we're going to get back into it. Okay. So that's all I have for Maria. I just feel like she's getting too close. I think that she needs to go back. You know, you work at the hospital, girl, go work at the hospital when Tommy, but I understand it too. Cause it's kind of like she said to him in the last week's episode, I know what I signed up for. Right. So that's understood, you know? So the only thing that I could get when she says that is the fact that she has to come around, because when he showed up in last week's episode, he was there for 2 minutes, y'all. And I'm like, like I would not be able to handle that. Like only seeing my man for like 2 minutes. No, what are you talking? Like, you cannot show up. Make sure all your business is done when you come here. Okay. Like if I'm saying I'm signing up for this, okay, then we have to come up with some type of agreement that when you finally show up at my doorstep, you cannot run back out. All your business is done for the day. You know, make sure your number 2 guy got it or something like that. Like, no, forward them calls to somebody else, because you're with me right now. Like, I can't have you just got here and you're running out. I don't like stuff like that. So anywho, let's talk about Jenard, guys. So I'm sorry, not Jenard, Diamond. All right. So Diamond, I love the way Diamond shut Tommy down. Okay, toward the end of the episode, when Tommy was trying to, you know, say his little piece and trying to, like, you know, do this little speech or something like that was like trying to boost them up, right? And it wasn't working because, number one, you're not us. And so they looking at you like the move you just made was crazy, bro. Okay. So now Jenard steps in and he's trying to speak, and Tommy's like, no, don't talk, da da da. And Tommy and Diamond says, no, let him talk. Let him speak. Right. And I love it. And then after that, he had his back again when Tommy told Jenard to like watch his tone or whatever, you know? And he was like, no, he's right, you know? So I really like that. And at the same time, like they both walked away, Jenard, the brothers, they walked away, and Tommy was left there, you know, kind of looking stupid, because at the end of the day, it's like, bro, you're making all of these freaking moves. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're just the boss. And even though he did come in and, you know, he took things to another level, it's like, you need to humble yourself. Like, why can't you see that this was here already? Like, you want some colonizer type stuff, which is why I understand why some people like Shanti and Jenard and whoever, they get upset about Tommy and things. But I also understand where Diamond is coming from when he talks about a partnership. But other than that, that's as far as it goes. Okay. Let me see. So Jenard, he's getting in Diamond's ear about getting Tommy under control. And I talked about that, guys. And I do think that Diamond is listening, but only to the stuff that makes sense. Okay. Which I do like about Diamond. So when Jenard comes to Diamond about something, like, oh, get Tommy in check and do this and do that, if it doesn't make sense to him, he's, you know, he's basically blocking it. He's telling Jenard, no, that's not going to work. You do need to do what Tommy is talking about right now. We do need to focus on finding the shooter. We do need to do this. We do need to do that. Right. And then when Jenard is saying certain things to him that does make sense, Diamond will say, okay, I understand it, and I got you. I promise, you know, it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that, blah, blah, blah. And just even in that moment, you know, when he had his brother's back, I'm talking about Diamond having Jenard's back, that right there should have showed Jenard something, right? So that when it does come time for Shanti's plan to delete the brother Diamond, he's not going to do it, because he sees that, you know, my brother may not always agree with everything I'm saying. He's not going to take his brother's disagreement for slight. I'm hoping that there's something building here where Jenard's mind is going to start, you know, turning, and, you know, in the right direction to where he's thinking logically and he's saying, you know what, I get where my brother's coming from. He's making moves in a way that makes sense. And it's not to spite me. It's more so, you know, it is to help CBI, so to speak, right? But we're gonna have to see how to go. So I'm trying to stay on track here. Diamond has a flashback. Okay, let's talk about the flashback real quick. Diamond has a flashback of him sitting in front of a bloody mirror. Okay, after he deleted that cop. What was his name? Bennigan or something like that. Not the cop, the parole officer or whatever the heck he was. So, you know, we had Tommy standing there. Okay. He's standing in the back and he has this devilish grin on his face. All right. So I'm going to go with my first prediction. This makes me feel like Diamond is going to delete Tommy. If anybody is going to take out Tommy, I feel like it's going to be Diamond. If you guys watch Diamond's body language and you watch, yes, he does agree with certain things that Tommy does, but there are a lot of things that he looks at Tommy and it's like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really feeling that. But he'll express it, and then there's moments where he won't, right? So I feel like the writers are doing that on purpose so that if and when he does take Tommy out, it's going to be a shocker. That's just me. That's my death prediction. I don't know, y'all. But whatever. My next death prediction is Jenard deleting Shanti. So I think that this is going to happen because that line where he tells her, I promise you that I have not deviated from my plan. The moment he probably shoots Shanti, and let's say that she has some life still left in her and she's like, oh, you promised me, you know, her dying moments, you know, I always like to play out everything, right, guys? You promised me. And he's like, no, you promised me you go with the plan. And he's like, I did go with my plan. My plan was never to delete my brother. It was always to use you to take over, get back, you know, my position in CBI, and then take you out because I can't trust you. You are a freaking manipulative BI. That's my prediction, y'all. So I'm going to listen. I'm going to see what y'all talking about in the comments because I love the comments is going. And, you know, then I want to see, like, how y'all feeling? How you feel about what I'm talking about, huh? And then we're going to talk about Stacey real quick. And then I think that's it. I don't have anything else. So, yeah, just real quick, honey. Let's see. Imagine if Shanti tells Tommy that Jenard is back on drugs, betrayed Jenard because he can't eliminate Zyman. Hey, starring Toya. Do you think Shanti will take out Jenard? I feel like that's another thing. I didn't like what I felt when he brought up the fentanyl. I felt some type of way, the way she reacted to, she looked at his arms like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not playing with you. I told you, you know what I mean? That kind of made me feel like she would take him out. But I'm hoping that it's going to go the other way around. Yeah, I didn't like it when she said I picked the right brother. Right. Unbraid your own hair. Right. What's up with that? Shanti could tell Che that Tommy eliminated Mateo. This could cause Che to dismiss Tommy because Tommy was, what are you saying? Shanti still want to meet Che. Right. Shanti just wants to do a whole lot. And yeah, it's just a lot going on. I don't know. I don't like Tommy with Maria. What is the time frame of this show? Out of nowhere, they in love. Yeah, they've been in love seemingly for a little while. I think since was it the beginning of season 2 or season 1? I think season 1 they started messing around and it was fast. You know, she kind of broke up with her little boyfriend and everything, and she was really feeling Tommy really fast, you know? So, I don't know. Let me see. Let me see. I believe that Tommy will eliminate Che, and this causes Tommy to flee Chicago. I don't. Okay. I was gonna say I don't think Tommy is surviving, but I know that. Well, I don't know. I think he's supposed to be what, messing around with that other show. Is there a spinoff that's gonna happen with him and Tariq? I don't know, y'all. But if there isn't, I am predicting still that Tommy is gonna be deleted by none other than freaking Diamond, the guy closest to him. Like, come on. What's good, Stephen Harris? How are you? So we also have Tommy, who is feeding Vic information, right? You're going to be my inside man for the feds. So he's feeding information to Vic so that he can go feed it to whoever the heck he tells him to feed it to. So in this instance, it's go talk to your sister. Let her know that we're going to be taking over the Viagra Triangle. Okay, there you go with that. And you know, that kind of played right into the hands of Stacey because she called the meeting. She, meaning Claudia, she called the meeting with Stacey and told her all about it. Okay, well, she didn't tell her all about it. She let her know that, you know, I have information, and like, if you work with me, this, that, and the third, I can, you know, I got the intel on everything going on with CBI and Tommy and blah, 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 blah. Okay, guys. Sorry. Stacey gets served divorce papers, okay, by Bobby. This could not have happened at a worse time because she's trying to run for mayor now, okay? The lady Donna, she asks Stacey, she's like, "Do you have anything going on right now that could come and bite us in the behind later?" She says no. And she was served the divorce papers. But I guess she must feel like at some point she can talk to Bobby and, you know, talk some sense into him and blah, 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 blah. But obviously, this is going to come right back around to bite her in the behind because Bobby loves her so much that he was actually willing to work with her and be like, all right, if you tell me that this is not about like some politics or campaign or anything like that, I will definitely consider. You know, I mean, sorry, I would definitely reconsider. You know what I'm saying? But she couldn't. So there you have that. Definitely coming to freaking, you know, bite her in the behind. Let's see. And that's pretty much that. So I'm going to be looking a little bit at some of the comments. If I don't see anything, you know, that's going to spark any more conversation, I'm going to get ready to end the live and just go get me something to eat and try to relax. I got to get to work in the morning. A long day tomorrow. Let's see. Also, the reason why that flashback with Tommy in the back, right? I just think that it's interesting that in this flashback, Tommy is in it as well. Because if you recall that episode when Diamond deleted that man, you know, slit his throat and everything, there was a close-up where he was staring at himself in the mirror with the blood in it, right? But we also saw the scene where Tommy was in the back of him with the smile. Okay? So why did the writers choose that as a flashback instead of Diamond looking in the mirror, that close up with just him, right? And the bloody mirror, only him. Okay. I feel like the writers are trying to, you know, convey a message to say that Tommy, oh my gosh, I hate when I mess up the names, guys. Diamond is viewing Tommy as this type of influence that is not good for him, right? This little devil, you know what I'm saying, standing to the left. back there smirking, you know what I'm saying, and possibly maybe pulling strings, you know what I'm saying? And this is not sitting well with Diamond. So I think that's part of the reason right there, you know what I mean? So we shall see. And if he does not delete Tommy himself, I think that those thoughts alone will give him cause to just kind of go with the flow of what Jannard wants to do, right? And just band with his brother. So I can kind of see the brothers coming together to be against Tommy. All right, guys. Tommy moved to Unalive Mateo. And what? Severed heads of the coalition is a display of dominance, but it's seen as reckless by others like Diamond. Yeah. And I think it was seen as reckless by like everybody, all of the people that were like basically the coalition, right? They were just like, what the heck? Like, this is not, what are you doing? You know, and that's why Diamond allowed his brother to talk, because he knows that he once had influence, or not just once had influence, he has influence. And clearly, if he was doing it while Diamond was away, he can do it again. And clearly, Tommy is freaking losing his mind, and the stuff that he's doing is not working for everyone. Okay, it's really not. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you all. Stephen Harris, DeMarcus, who else? J Mac, starring Toya. Art Love was in the building. Rashonda Greer. You know, I appreciate all of you guys. Queen was here. Tommy pulled Diamond back in. Diamond was away for 15 years. Yep. Alrighty, guys. So the thing is that I wouldn't necessarily say Art Love. I wouldn't necessarily say that he pulled him back in, because he always wanted to come back. He just wanted to do it in a way where it couldn't be done. Like, he didn't want to get his hands dirty, and he wanted to do it in a different way. He still wanted to be CBI, but he didn't want to delete anybody, and he wanted to be on the straight and narrow. And it's like, my guy, no, you can't. This is not, it's not going to work like that. It doesn't work like that. So he had to eventually, you know, get his hands dirty. But every time he got his hands dirty, it was more so on some personal stuff. So Tommy didn't really have nothing to do with that. If I'm remembering things correctly, he didn't have nothing to do with that. Like, that situation that happened with was that Leon's father? Nope. That was like, it seems personal, you know? But anyway, listen, if I'm wrong, go ahead and type it on in there. Let a sister know it's okay. But I just felt like it was more personal stuff that was going on with him, because he always got like attached to people that was outside of the game and stuff. Because like I said, he was trying to do something different. He wanted to, you know, do his barbershop and blah, 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 and, you know, all that. So anyway, thank you, Stephen Harris. Thank you. And Art Love, yes, don't be a stranger. I am going to try. Things are, for me, I am expecting things to open up and get back on track when it comes to the new year. Okay. So that's what it's looking like right now. It's like a lot going on, super busy, a lot of different things and life changes. Good stuff. All right, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, take care and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.